Hello, everyone, and welcome to Session 3 of the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle. My name is Randie Henderson, and I am one of the Black Feminist Reading Circle members of this online group. This session runs from January 20th until June 2nd and includes 2 week-long breaks. Our democratically selected reading material is Harriet A. Washington's book, Medical Apartheid, The Dark History of Medical Experimentation on Black Americans from Colonial Times to the Present. Our book group meets each Tuesday evening from 6:30 to 8 on the Google Plus Hangouts on Air platform. You may find the Global Black Feminist Reader Circle on Google Plus, YouTube, and Facebook, and always feel free to join us in reading our story together.
Welcome everyone to the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle. We are here on Google Plus each Tuesday evening, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are currently in Session 3, reading our 3rd book, Medical Apartheid, The Dark History of Medical Experimentation on Black Americans from Colonial Times to the Present. And you can learn more about us at our community page on Google Plus. or our archived videos on YouTube or on our Facebook page. This session is running through June 16th, 2015, which means we are coming on down the road. And tonight, we are going to be reading Chapter 13, Infection and Inequity, Illness as a Crime. My name is Michelle Odom. I'm one of the co-hosts of the Reading Circle, along with Randie Danielle Henderson, and I'm located in Brooklyn, New York.
Hello, my name is Randie and I am watching from Atlanta. And I'm again happy to see everybody tonight.
My name is Venita Walker and I'm joining you from Connecticut. Welcome to the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle.
Hey everyone.
Adhere.
Georgette Moses, participating from Columbia, South Carolina. And I'm glad my power came back on. So I can join you all.
Yes, hi everyone. Hope you're feeling well. I'm calling you from Utah. Oh, I'm Kim Brandon, and I'm in New York also.
I'm Joel Jones from Charleston, South Carolina. How's everybody doing?
We good.
Good.
Summary. In Chapter 13, author Harriet A. Washington offers an overview of public health responses to two major contagions, tuberculosis and HIV/AIDS. She highlights the ways in which these responses have played out very differently for African Americans and our children than for whites, including use of containment therapy or hospital imprisonment to force victims to adhere to a particular schedule of medication, the use of Black babies and children as research subjects to discover vaccines and cures when they have been orphaned or come under control of the state, and lack of interest in drugs that appear to primarily hold promise for Blacks. She includes examples to illustrate how biased research, inequitable and inhumane policies, and dangerous abuse of powers have shaped the uncomfortably close relationship between African Americans and infectious disease. Unhealthy places and decadent times infect us by their contagion.
AIDS has also abetted TB cases among African Americans. 2/3 of people with AIDS die of lung disease, and if they are African American, that lung disease is more likely to be tuberculosis than pneumocystis carinii pneumonia. One wonders whether, if tuberculosis singled out upper-class whites, less punitive solutions would abound. The history of a persistent TB epidemic at New York's Rikers Island prison may be instructive on that score. In 1982, the Legal Aid Society sued the city's corrections department, demanding that it address inmate illness and deaths resulting from its long-time tuberculosis epidemic. That year, there were 2,268 new TB cases. By late 1991, there were 4,426 cases. In January 1992, a new drug-resistant TB killed 27 inmates. Then an infected white corrections officer died. The city responded with alacrity, signing a renovation contract within the month. On February 8th, with Mark Corrections Incorporated of Maywood, New Jersey, then building a new high-tech tuberculosis isolation wing, which was speedily erected at a cost of $4 million. And question A is New York City then implying that one white life is worth so many African American lives. And how many?
Yes.
Wow, that whole a story said from top to bottom, well, yeah. And not only that, you know, there's a question why that the cases almost doubled between, the time they were sued, right, 1982 to 1991. And then there was a new drug resistance TB, that killed 27 of the inmates. And, I'm thinking back to what we've already learned. So they were experimenting on the inmates with, drugs, TB drugs probably. So that's where that drug resistant form came from. So they didn't care. Once you're locked behind bars, you're fair game. So, but heaven forbid it get out. And that one white correctional officer was, and of course they knew, they're exposed to blood and feces and everything else, that would infect these guys, and women who worked at the correctional facility. So why weren't they taking proper precautions? But look, $4 million they pulled out of their socks, and boom, things changed. So yeah, and it doesn't matter how many, that number is infinite. That, as far as what I believe, and from what I've seen from all these anecdotal, incidents that she's named throughout this book, it just, it sadly doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. This chapter is full of examples of disparate treatment. And as we're reading this chapter this week, the events, the comparison going on between the police response to the young people who rioted in Baltimore, and the police response to the white bikers who had to shoot them up. It's just incredible to see these things, right before your face, and so they know we see it, and they don't care. But I think it's interesting that, I think you just can't expect other people to care about you more than you care about yourself, and you can't expect the people that have caused your problems to solve your problems. I was reading something today on Facebook. Puff Daddy or P. Diddy or whoever he is these days was saying something about that we have to stop killing ourselves, that we have to stop killing each other. And this young man just really went off, taking him to task, and calling him a coon and all kinds of things. And it's just so interesting to me about Black folks that anytime anybody raises the idea that we should love ourselves, that we should take care of ourselves, it gets met with a really just a really harsh resistance to that idea. So I don't know, but as I said, I've been around a lot of white folks, and I work closely right now with a young white man, and it's just always interesting to see how they perceive the world and they move through the world, and like his attitude, the guy that I work with, is he ain't taking no stuff from nobody, and stuff that wouldn't even bother me. He's like, oh, no, 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 we don't have to do that. But, it's interesting because to me, a lot of times, white folks are not asking us. They fear. They fear that we are going to react to things like they would react to things. Like they would tear the roof off the house. They would burn this mother down if things weren't going their way. And they think that one day we're going to wake up and start acting like that too. But we're so far away from it. So of course the city responded with $4 million, and a whole new facility and everything because a white life had been taken. And if they didn't do something, the white folks were gonna tear this mother down. But what they know is no matter how many black lives you take, black folks are just going to sit back and say,
well, I don't know. What are we waiting for? The rapture to come?
yeah.
Leader.